Welcome back to Twitch and Buck Sports Talk. Twitch, state of the Broncos, the Steelers, and the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to start out here with LSV with the state of the Chiefs. LSV, what's the state of the Chiefs rolling into Colts week?
It's do or die time. I mean, that's where it comes down to. I mean, we talked about it earlier tonight. The schedule that we have is pretty daunting, and the first question that needs to be answered, honestly, is where are we at when we play the Colts? If we can get the win over the Colts at home, which is, I'm glad that's a home game, I feel a little bit better. But then that's the short turnaround to go out on the road and play the Cowboys in Dallas, and that's a tough one. I mean, I feel like, I don't know what the statistics are on that. We talked about that earlier because that's what got that whole Finn and Twitch, haha. You know, when you have to travel on a short week, the odds of you winning that game are slim, and so I feel like the Chiefs probably drop one of those two games, and that I'm still feeling the same way that I feel right now in 2 weeks, and that this is the first time in a decade that, as a Chiefs fan, you're looking at needing help from somebody else needing to lose some games to be in the playoffs.
That playoff picture.
So that's not a favorable place to be in. At the end of the day, I'm not losing any sleep over it, but I feel like, you know, they have a few things that are on the table that they need to definitely they definitely need to do better. I'm kind of at a loss. I mean, because I feel like at the end of the season, there's going to be some things that are going to be out of our control, which is just it's conversations that we haven't had to have for a month. Now, at the end of the day, I do have some outside interest in, you know, if the Broncos do come out and are successful, that I will be celebrating on things that I won't comment on here. But I will say this, that I don't think you ever count the Chiefs out. You don't count these Chiefs out. You don't count Patrick Mahomes out. I feel like this, if this is a year that they don't make the playoffs, I think that's the end of. I think Travis Kelce steps away from the game. I think that we talked a little bit about before the podcast that we have some exciting wide receiver talent that's really young that will come back and help them build the next generation of what the Chiefs look like. But in my heart, I kind of feel like, man, maybe this is the year that we have a setback and that we don't make the playoffs. So I hope that I'm not right. I hope that I'm not standing there in my boxers wearing a sign of Big Willie's choice, the box's choice of something stupid that I'm going to regret. But at the same time, it's all for a good time. That's what this podcast is all about, is just a few guys getting around the table talking about the NFL, being passionate about what they love about their teams. And so I always appreciate how excited the box is for his Broncos. I can't say the same thing about Twitch and the Steelers because he's not been on board with the Steelers half the year, but he's also very accurate about where they're at.
Yeah, he's
so.
I think you said spot on, Ron.
Yeah. So what's the state of the Chiefs? Boy, I hope that they win the next two games and they get right for December football, because if there's one team out there that plays outstanding football in December in the NFL, I think that's the Chiefs. Oh, yeah. And so they got to get past two tough games. Yeah. And then you go, okay, you beat the Colts, you beat a Cowboys team that's looking pretty good on offense, and then you look at a couple divisional games in December that I think that they clean up and that they play well. And so, man, I hope it's all relevant, and I'm hoping that this isn't, you know, like a setback year.
The beginning of the end.
It's not going to be the beginning of the end. But if we don't make the playoffs this year, we have some things that we need to do in the offseason to get back to where we need to be. So, and it's just like Would you say Chris Jones has got one more year
Yeah,
left
I think when he re-upped, he signed a 2-year deal. So
and Nick Bolton will
Nick Bolton will be for a little. Nick Bolton re-upped this last year, so you have those guys. Rashid Rice is still on his rookie contract. Xavier Worthy's obviously this is year 2 for him. So I mean, you have guys. You have Karlaftis has re-signed 2 years ago. So I mean, you have pieces across the board, but it's just you're losing. I mean, I think TK's for sure done after this year, especially if they don't make the playoffs. So unless they go on a crazy run and lose a Super Bowl heartbreaker or something, I think Travis Kelce's for sure out, and Chris Jones is probably on his last legs.
So these next 2 weeks to me are just huge, and I love it. I mean, it's football. That's what you love about tuning in and watching your team play. You want those games to all be relevant, and I want that game on Christmas
To be relevant.
Where I'm that guy. I want that to be a game of relevance where I'm selling that ticket, and I'm not. I'm gonna pay up that bet. I'm gonna go. But that's
You're gonna go tailgate and just drive home after you do your bet.
Yeah. So that's the state of the Chiefs. Get it done the next 2 weeks, and let's have a good football December month. I mean, I know you're just sitting over there gloating at this point with the Broncos. So, Box, what's your take, man? Because the Broncos still, to me, they don't look great. I mean,
there was definitely some things that still need to be improved on, obviously. But I mean, getting a huge win, 22-19 against the reigning AFC champion. I mean, we beat the 2 teams in the Super Bowl this year now, so I mean, I feel it has to feel good, even if they weren't. Neither of them were necessarily pretty wins. I mean, we come back against the Eagles, and then we drive down and kick a last-second field goal against the Chiefs. They got blocked last year in the same situation. Right. So, I mean, it feels like a good win across the board. It feels good to be top of the AFC. I mean, we're the number 1 seed.
It's disgusting to have to listen to that.
It's a beautiful picture. It's beautiful.
Your son's there enjoying it.
It's a beautiful.
Yeah, I know he is.
It's a beautiful thing to look at. Our schedule down the stretch looks pretty favorable. I mean, we got the Commanders on Sunday Night Football without Jalen Daniels, and then we play the Raiders again. The Packers will be an interesting game to see where they're at that point, and same thing with the Jags the week after. Interesting to see where they're at, and then we have the Christmas game, which we'll be at, which is exciting. Just can't stop smiling about it.
Just the way your eye fucking me right now makes me nervous.
I mean,
I thought of a couple.
You gave me.
I thought of a couple of sign ideas.
You give me. Yeah, I mean, you gave me free reign to make a sign, and nobody said how big the sign has to be. This could be I could give you a over the body display sign. I mean, there's so many options. But and then we finished the year with the Chargers. But I think with how far up the Broncos, unless knock on wood something crazy happens down the stretch, and Sean Payton doesn't just blow these games for us with our screen passes and revert back to the old days, or revert back to 2 weeks ago, we should say, not necessarily the old days, with the screen passes. I think Sean did a really great job this last week, though, of coming up with different. We still threw the screen passes a little bit more than I'd like personally, but we figured we dialed it back a little bit. We took some deep shots early. They didn't necessarily all hit, but that last pass to Troy Franklin to get us into field goal range where we needed it, where the the front shoulder fade over their DB. I mean, it was a great ball. And then RJ Harvey's, he's obviously still a rookie. He's got a lot of room to improve, but he's going to grow. I mean, I think he's going to grow to be a good running back. And McLaughlin being the backup will be all right.
So you're worried about Surtain?
I am elated that we won without Surtain. I was kind of worried about that with Worthy and Rice, that 1-2 combo and then Kelce in the middle kind of got locked down by when Huff finally started playing good. I mean, I'm happy that we won without Surtain, but I'm also kind of worried now because it was supposed to be a 3-week injury, a 2-week injury, and it's turning into a 4 or 5 week injury. So I'm interested to see when Surtain will get back. I think when he gets back, he'll be just as good as he was before. I mean, I think they're kind of not necessarily rushing him back because we haven't needed him yet necessarily. But I think when we play the Chiefs again, he definitely needs to be out there on the field because the Chiefs are going to come in with that hunger of we might be in a pinch to make a playoff spot here.
Yeah, they know where they need to be at for sure, and so.
And I mean, with our favorable schedule looking forward, I mean, obviously the Packers and the Jags will be interesting, and then we play the Chiefs again and end with the Chargers. So, I mean, I think we keep rolling for a little bit here.
I tell you what, the state of the Broncos is definitely better than the state of the Steelers because I feel like I need to give you some meds or something because this might be the craziest rant ever. So what's the state of the Steelers there, Twitch?
Well, we're still sitting at 6-4, one game above KC.
Oh, this is true because the
I can say that for a couple more weeks.
The Carolina Panthers have a better record than the Chiefs right now.
Right.
God.
But
So
no, I said,
not at all. Actually, I'm very happy that
Pittsburgh gets the good win. So they got revenge and held Flacco in check. So defense getting 2 defensive touchdowns again. So it's another one of those kind of like the Colts when their defense is creating those splash plays. They've been blowout wins. So when they're not getting to the quarterback, when they're not getting turnovers, then you have the games like the Packers where they complete 20 straight passes. So that's been their MO all year. I said Rodgers will be interesting to see whether he plays. Like I said, I don't know if Rudolph, it will be week to week. I don't know if it's as much of a drop off as what people think. Obviously, Rodgers is Hall of Fame quarterback, and Mason Rudolph found his niche as a backup quarterback. Before knowing Pittsburgh's offense and just being younger and what he provides, and like Rodgers is still the better option, but I feel like Rudolph will keep him competitive against teams like Chicago or teams like the Dolphins we have coming up and the Cleveland again. Obviously, I think Rodgers will be back by then. But really don't have anything else new to report. I mean, we're going to finish 9-8, 10-7. We'll be the last team in or the first team out. Pittsburgh's got a rough couple games. A couple of things I did like about last game is Jaylen Warren continues to be the only consistent offensive player that we have, putting up over 100 yards total again, and then some nice plays out of the backfield by Gainwell, which we'd kind of seen against that Patriots win and the Vikings, and right after the bye, but it really has been non-existent. So Pittsburgh really using that 1-2 punch at running back. Still don't know who their number 2 receiver is. I think the what do they call it? The angry, the Good Morning Football or whatever crew is like has the angry runs of the week. If you didn't see that clip, the Darnell Washington ran over 3 dudes. It's like 6'8", 300 pounds. Mount Washington.
Another fun fact that still holds true is if he plays over 40 snaps, the Steelers win.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe Mike get him on the field.
Well, he's also like he's basically like another offensive lineman.
He's a freak of nature when he's attached to the line, and then we saw what he can do in space.
Yeah.
When he was throwing guys around.
Right. But I mean, Pittsburgh's schedule coming up. I said they've got Chicago this week. Then they're back home against the Bills. And then they go on the road to Baltimore. And then I believe that's when they play the Dolphins right after that. Or I can tell you who they came back. I don't have it right in front of me. I don't have the order in front of me, but I know they play the Browns, the Ravens, the Lions, down to that stretch too. And so, like I said, I don't know where you find it. With 6 wins, I feel like that magic number to not even necessarily guarantee a spot with Kansas City expecting to go on a run. We'll see what the Chargers do. We'll see what the Jaguars do. But I feel like that 10's the magic number to all but guarantee you to get one of those playoff spots. And I just don't know where you pick up 4 wins in that. I wouldn't be surprised if they split the series with Baltimore, because they've actually had Baltimore's number over the last 5 or 6 years, and just traditionally, more often than not, they beat Baltimore. But Baltimore's beat us the last 2 games, and frankly they're the better team. But we might split one there. You hope to think that we beat Miami, that we beat Cleveland. As far as like, and then this is, I mean, to me, this Bears game is almost like that Chargers game, in that you still have several weeks left, but this, like I said, there's not a lot of gimme wins. So, not that Chicago will be, but I feel like Chicago's one of the easier teams of that schedule. I mean, not worse than the Browns or the Dolphins, but I mean, like I said. And I said this a couple weeks ago. I said, "But watch us lose to the Dolphins, but beat either the Lions or Bills."
Yeah, beat a team you're
that's
not.
Pittsburgh. So they're like a magnet to 9-8, 10-7, like a moth to a flame. So, yeah. I mean, say the Steelers. I said they're still up a game on Baltimore, who's won 4 straight. They're 6-4. Baltimore's 5-5. So just trying to establish like more of that 1-2 punch. I said because they had success early on in the year, and then even against the Chargers and Packers, they kind of got away from that a little bit. So, yeah, I feel like that's kind of the only thing going forward. And then at this point, I said they don't have a number 2 receiver. Like the Roman Wilson's had a couple good statistical games. I said, but some of that was in garbage time against the Chargers. So,
Well, rolling down to maybe even sadder fan base than the Kansas City Chiefs. We're gonna hit Finn, the state of the Bengals. Finn, what's the state of the Bengals rolling into Week 12 of the NFL season here?
Joe Flacco, he's decreased ever since his first game. I'd say Joe Burrow's probably not going to go in because no point. And I wouldn't say they make it to the playoffs. I'd say they're
I
like
definitely wouldn't say they make it in the playoffs.
Yeah.
same with the Chiefs.
Oh,
Yeah,
God,
you just
Matt
get it.
Tucker.
You get it from
Yeah.
all
Oh, I'll
sides.
see you on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Hold my sign.
It's not going to be appropriate for him.
Probably Jamar Chase not being on that offense for this game gonna be important, and they're gonna need to win some games just to get a better record so they don't look bad. And
I think you should be tanking for picks right now. See if you can catch the Titans in the first overall pick race.
Flacco's actually played pretty good. So they got lost to the Jets and the Bears. That's completely on the defense side. He was still putting up 40-some points.
Like as
So
a
they got to figure out a way to make the stops at the end. And if they can, I think for Cincinnati, I don't mean to interrupt, but kind of help you out. Like I said, I feel like Cincinnati, if they can somehow find a way to beat a Baltimore in one of those upset games and stay competitive in a divisional game, and then these other so-called easier games for them. I mean, when you're, no offense, when you're the Ravens or when you're the Bengals, like there's no such thing as a
easy win.
easy win. But
I
feel like your goal is like if you can somehow win 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, and you're only a game or two back, and if Pittsburgh or Baltimore both lose a game, then they're only a couple games back with 4 or 5 to play still. So I think it's probably not going to happen. Just being real. So, but if for some reason they find themselves in December and only back a game, then maybe you come back. Even then, I don't know if you come back then still, but.
Well, I certainly hope that season 3 of Quarterback on Netflix that they're not following the Bengals or the Ravens.
Yeah, I feel like
'Cause
it'd be
I have no
very-
idea who they are out there following this year. Because I mean that's been a conversation I've had with some people that know people in the league.
Bo Nix.
But that would have been
That'd
Trust
be
me, I've
crazy.
asked, and I've been told I can't tell you. So, I mean,
Might have to.
we shall see.
We shall
If Bo
see.
Nix is the quarterback, then I'm just going to think that the NFL might actually be rigged for the
Yeah,
sake of like,
just because of how they played and stuff.
right.
Very much so.
Oh, they got Mahomes on quarterback when he went to the Super Bowl. Oh, they got Denver in like the surprise of the season, and
Be interesting for sure.
but if they can get those late game stops, then they could pull out some games.
Yeah, get a couple wins. Right now, they'd have the ninth overall pick if the draft happened today. So, it's a fun little stat there. See if we can tank a couple games to get a top 5.
we'll be
Also,
picking somewhere between 18 and 21. So,
like every year.
every year.
Sorry. The Rams are going to get a top 5 or a top 10 pick with got that first round pick for Michael Penix when they traded up. So the Rams are going to get a top 5 pick. It'll be cool to see what they do with that pick. How good they've been. See where they add. Maybe a quarterback if Matt Stafford calls the year after this year. But that concludes Twitch and Box Sports Talk. State of the Broncos, Steelers, and Chiefs, and Bengals this week for Finn being here. I appreciate everybody listening. Down below, drop a comment on what you think about our takes, and drop a comment what you think your state of your teams are. We had a Patriots fan a couple weeks ago ask why we didn't do the Patriots. It's because none of us are knowledgeable on the Patriots. But we would gladly have anybody on if you want to jump on here and give us your take, or even just send us an email, or
Yeah, Tom Brady, if you're out there listening,
yeah, drop us a tweet of what you think the state of it is, and we'll analyze it and see what we think about it. But appreciate everybody listening, and hope everybody has a great week.